YouTube family, what's good? This is Chris from We Dullah here, and I'm back with another video in the We Dullah Love series. This particular video is going to talk a little bit about our wedding planning. So obviously, if you watched the last video, you know that on July 16th, 2016, I proposed, and of course, Shannon said yes. So what's next is the wedding. So we got to plan that and get that all straight and set up. So I'm going to give you guys details as to how we did it, how we paid for it, and how it turned out. Keep watching. All right, so wedding planning. I'm gonna use the word we a lot. Realistically speaking, just know that when I say we, I most of the time mean Shannon. Shannon did 90+% of the planning with this. Most of the time, if I was involved, it was checking to see if I didn't hate something. That was all. That was the only input I was putting in. It was just to make sure, like, yeah, you know, I like that. I like where your head is.
That's what she said.
That's about it. It was no real decision making on my end except for my attire, which I'm gonna get into a little bit later. Starters, how much did it cost? I don't know the exact cost. I do know it was within our realm of affording it straight cash. So we didn't have to do loans or finance anything. We were able to pay for everything that we did in cash. Me working a lot of overtime and just getting a lot of extra money coming in, I was able to pay for majority of the things, and she was able to help out, and together we were able to pay everything off free and clear, so that once the wedding was over, we weren't starting our marriage with debt from the wedding itself. So that was good, because you know, most marriages have issues. If they have issues, part of it's going to be financial issues. So good thing is we didn't start off on a bad foot. So how did we pay for it? Or how could we afford it, I guess you could say. Look, as you know, myself and Shannon were both very financially conscious as far as how much money we're spending and things of that nature. In order to make sure that we could have the best wedding possible, the most amazing dream wedding that she can ever ask for, while still being within our budget, we had to be somewhat creative. So there were a couple things that we did. One of which, we found a venue that's not typically used for weddings specifically. So when I say that, I mean, a lot of times, you know, people will pick different venues that exclusively do weddings, or that's a majority of what they do. So they charge that wedding premium, so to speak. What we did was, we found a venue that isn't specifically known for that, but they are known for hosting events. So the venue that we found was a country club in High Point that was very, very reasonable. I think the total amount that we paid was $2,000. That did not include the catering. Catering was a little bit more, but the catering was included. So the catering was included. There was a cash bar that we had in there. They had their own staff and everything like that who were in charge of handling everything. So we didn't have to worry about that, and we didn't have to worry about getting a wedding planner or anybody along those lines to make sure everything was running smooth, because the employees at the country club were taking care of all that. So that saved us money. So I think all in all, I think maybe we spent somewhere around $3,000 to $3,500 for the venue, the food, you know, the whole nine, which is pretty reasonable, I believe, if you compare it to a lot of other locations, especially given that we didn't have to worry about going to this vendor or that vendor or anything like that. Everything was all in-house. Napkins, chairs, everything. They had everything they needed. We rented a couple things specifically that Shannon wanted to have for decoration purposes, but for the most part, the venue had everything that we needed. So that was good. That was perfect. Another thing that we did was we found vendors or specific people like photographers, the baker who baked our cakes and cupcakes and things of that nature. We found people who were not specifically well known and big in the industry. We found people who were trying to get their name out there, were trying to build their portfolio, and someone newer to the industry. In that particular situation, we were able to get a really good deal for really good quality work and good quality product, just because they were new. They were new to everything and they were trying to build their portfolio. So we were helping them build their portfolio and they were helping us with getting a good product and good service at a reasonable price. So it was a win-win situation, and that was perfect. That landed perfect for us. Our photographer did an amazing job. The woman that we had baked the cakes and the cupcakes and things of that nature, she did an amazing job. So everything came out beautiful and we were able to afford it. If you were asking the question, why did we end up paying for it ourselves? Traditionally speaking, most of the time, the father or the parents of the bride will either pay for or help pay for the wedding. That's just old school tradition, the way it is. And then the parents of the groom normally pay for or help with the honeymoon. So in our particular situation, Shannon's father actually passed away when she was a kid, back when she was 13 years old. So he passed away, so it was just her mother who raised her the rest of the way. And, we didn't feel comfortable asking her mom to, help pay for everything. And, Shannon's extremely independent. I'm independent. We normally like to do things on our own anyway. So we just decided to just go ahead and pay for everything ourselves. Now, on the other side of that tradition, the groom side, my parents actually did help us, or not help us. They paid for the honeymoon in full. They took care of everything, our flight, transportation, lodging, the whole nine. They booked everything, planned everything, set everything up for us. It was a really good gift to us, something that we didn't have to worry about, and something that we will cherish and thank them for years to come, because it was a fun time. But I will have a video on the honeymoon coming up a little bit later, so to tell you guys the details about that. Moving on to decorations and things of that nature. So how we set up everything as far as decorations and just things that we had set up at the venue were a combination of two things. One were things that we crafted. Again, I say we mean Shannon. Things that we crafted and put together ourselves, made ourselves. Ideas that she got from Pinterest or her friends or whatever the case may be. She kind of put things together herself, decorated herself, just bought little things and made it into what it was. And then another thing that we did was rent it from like one of those party rental places. I don't know the exact term for it, but we rented napkins and specific things that we wanted to use to decorate the table, and table covers, charges, all that good stuff. A lot of that stuff we had rented from this rental company place. We didn't rent everything, but we rented some key things that she just wanted to have that particular look for the wedding. So we did that. Another thing that we did was we went to a lot of wedding shows. So at wedding shows, you have access to tons of vendors everywhere. They give discounts just for you finding them at the wedding show. There are sweepstakes that you can be put in for to win their services or their products for free or at an extremely discounted rate. So we went to a lot of different wedding shows. And one particular wedding show that we went to, Shannon had been saying multiple times that she wanted to get a photo booth for the wedding. She thought it would be fun, and she just had to have this photo booth. And we were pricing it at all these different wedding shows, and the photo booths were costing like anywhere from $900 and up. to rent the photo booth for the wedding. So I'm like, we're paying for this stuff ourselves. We can't afford to pay an extra $1,000 just for a photo booth that, you know, who knows if we're even going to get any photos in it. You know, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like a waste of money to me at the time, but she really wanted to do it. She really wanted it. So we put in for a bunch of like sweepstakes to win a photo booth for our wedding. And the way you put in for the sweepstakes is you sign up and you take your picture at the photo booth. So this one particular wedding show that we went to, we filled out the paperwork, we took our photo, and we won. We won the photo booth, and it was actually probably like our favorite photo booth that we had went to. And it came with a bunch of stuff, not only the photo booth and the workers to work the photo booth, but also, you know, all the props that come with the photo booth. The guests who take photos, they get a copy of their photo and we get a copy of their photo that we can save in like a little scrapbook or something like that. So that was a cool feature. And just looking back at the wedding, man, that was probably the best portion of our wedding, to be honest, the most entertaining portion. Just looking at all the photos and remembering how many people were running back and forth to the photo booth, taking photo after photo after photo, groups of friends, groups of family members. You know, they're pulling us in on the photos. It was super fun. We have our own photos that we did at the photo booth. So I honestly think that was probably the best idea she had for the wedding. And I'm so glad that we did it. And I'm so glad that we won it so that we could do it and do it for free. So that was perfect. And that was another thing that kind of saved us money, but still gave us the opportunity to have something super cool and super fun at the wedding. What did I have an input on is a good question, because I didn't really, again, like I said, I wasn't trying to be in a situation where I'm like Groomzilla and I'm like trying to dictate how I want this, I want that, blah blah blah. The wedding's for the bride. Let's be honest. The wedding is for the bride. My job is to show up, smile, and say I do. That's my job. So I wanted her to have her dream wedding. I wanted her to have everything that she could ever imagine or has ever imagined being at her wedding. I wanted her to have that. Again, all I did was work to make sure I can afford it, and I put in my input as far as what I wanted to wear. So what I wore was a white tuxedo jacket with a black lapel, black tuxedo pants, obviously black shoes, and white shirt underneath with a low-cut vest to go underneath the jacket. What was my inspiration as to particularly why I chose that outfit? Going back to when me and Shannon were first dating, there was a time that I went to her apartment and she had what's called a vision board. So it was a poster board with a bunch of different photos, you know, quotes and different things. Essentially, it's a bucket list board. It's a board full of images of things that she wanted to do and accomplish in her lifetime, just period, before she leaves, before she passed. So, you know, I remember her showing me this and looking at all the different photos, and the few things that stood out to me on this board, there was a pregnant woman and a picture of a baby. So obviously that meant that Shannon wanted to have kids one day. So that was a big photo on there. So obviously it was a big thing, a big goal of hers to have in comparison to the other photos. Another huge photo that was on the poster board was a picture of a couple on their wedding day. So in that photo, you had obviously the bride and groom, and the groom, I remember, you know, vividly, the groom was wearing a white blazer with a black lapel and black pants. So I remember seeing that, and I, you know, was talking to her about it, the whole nine, and obviously we were talking about, you know, her aspirations of getting married. She'd been married previously before, but she was very young, you know, and it wasn't like a grand wedding or anything like that. It wasn't like a courthouse or anything like that, but it was right before Her first husband was going away for the military and things like that. So it wasn't the type of wedding that she wanted to have. She didn't get to pick out her dress because she always used to watch this show called Say Yes to the Dress. So she wanted to have that type of that type of wedding dress where she went there with friends or family, picked out a dress, said yes to it, and that's the dress that she's wearing for a wedding day. And she just wanted to have a grand wedding, and she had never had that up to that point. So that photo represented, that want and desire to have that type of wedding. But basically, she wanted to have a wedding. So I just remember seeing that, and it stuck in my mind, the outfit or the clothes that the groom was wearing. Because obviously she could have picked any photo in the world of a bride and groom on their wedding day. There's tons of wedding books out there, with wedding photos on there. So she could have picked any photo in the world, but she chose this one. Obviously, she liked the look of this particular couple. She liked what both of them were wearing and things of that nature. And that's something that was important to her, something that she cut out, took the time to cut out and put on this board. And every time she looks at it, that's what she sees. So in my mind, that's what her vision is for her own wedding. That's what she would want. So when the time came and she asked me what color tux I wanted to wear, and how do I want to set my outfit up in comparison to my groom's, I said I wanted to wear a white blazer with a black lapel, black pants, and have all my grooms wearing black. That's what I wanted. She's like, white, why do you want to wear a white blazer? I'm wearing white. Why do you got wear white? Why don't you want to wear black tux or, Gray's Inn or, navy tux or something like that? And I'm just like, no, I want to wear a white blazer, black lapel, black pants. That's what I want to wear. I did not put my foot down with anything that she wanted for the wedding. That was the only thing I stood fast on, put my foot down, said, I want this and I don't care, what you say, this is what I want. I don't ask for anything, I want this. After a few conversations, she eventually was like, okay, cool. I never told her that it was my inspiration for that outfit came from her vision board. And I never told her, the reasoning as to why I wanted to do it, which was I wanted for her, when she's seen me, when she comes through those doors and she's walking down the aisle, and she sees me, I want her to see the vision that she had been having subconsciously for years and years and years before she even met me. I wanted her to look back at our wedding photos and feel like this was exactly what she wanted and what she has been wanting her entire life without her even realizing it. So her looking at that photo from her vision board and feeling like that is her dream wedding, and then being able to look back at our photos and have it almost match exactly is the effect that I wanted. That is, mentally, I wanted her to be able to look at both things and be like, I had exactly what I wanted, and this was my dream wedding. So that's why I did that, and that's why I chose that particular outfit. Now the problem came in was because not a lot of rental companies, as far as tuxes, had this outfit. They did not have the blazer that I was looking for at all. Obviously the black pants is easy, but the blazer was damn near impossible to find at a lot of different tux rental companies. A lot of them had like white tux, and she was wearing an off-white dress, so that would not have looked right with us standing next to each other. So I needed like an off-white blazer instead of a bright white blazer. So, we were coming into some issues with that, and it was starting to get a little frustrating. But what we did was we actually went to a local tuxedo company that was in High Point, and they were actually able to find that particular tuxedo, and I just had to buy it. I couldn't rent it, I had to purchase it so that it can be altered to fit me specifically, and the whole nine. So we did that. I ended up buying it, and I bought the vest that comes with it, the low cut vest, so that when you look at me, you'll see just the blazer and the white shirt. You won't see the vest underneath. When I open it, that's when you see the vest underneath. So, you know, I wanted that particular vest because, again, that's what the guy was wearing in that particular outfit. I don't know if he had a vest on, but I know I couldn't see it. So that's what I did. And I set it up so that, you know, all of the grooms, because again, that vest was something that we couldn't rent either, especially order. So I set it up so that all the grooms, whenever they rented their tuxes, the vest was something that was super cheap, but it was something that when they paid for it, they got to keep it for, you know, any other outfit that they would ever want to wear with it. That was the only obstacle I think I had for my portion of the wedding planning, was trying to figure out how to get this vest or how to get this tux, which was very difficult, but we ended up figuring it out, so it wasn't a big deal. That was how we set up everything, how we planned everything, how we paid for everything. And coming up in the next video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the honeymoon and some of the hiccups that we had in the very beginning, but how it ultimately ended up. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Comment below if you have any particular questions for me. If you want to know, if you're in the North Carolina area and you want to know what vendors we used, just hit me up in the comment section. I'll do my best to try to get that information to you. And hit that bell notification, because again, these videos are going to keep coming out and you don't want to miss them when they do. All right, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.